Hey, what's up, guys? Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound, and we are entering excitingness, the Florida United Numismatists Show Week, which goes on from January 12th to the 16th. All right, and this show, some of you will be attending, is located in Orlando, Florida. It's one of the biggest shows to kick off the week. There's going to be a lot of high-profile dealers in attendance. If you're looking to take a look at some coins, possibly add stuff to your collection that maybe you're missing, this might be a good time. Everybody's looking to get back into the swing of things after a very strong holiday season, might I add, in the coin market, but it's going to get even better here the first quarter of this year. So we do have the fun show coming up here this week, and then middle of next month, we have the Long Beach sale as well. So that's in on the West Coast in Southern California. So if you're in this neck of the woods, you can check that one out as well. But there's going to be no shortage of coin activities. It's worth, checking out, exactly how the market's doing leading up into this weekend. It used to be in years past when a big show's coming up, usually some of the other auction sites kind of quiet down. All right, Great Collections is one of them, and that's where we're going to take a look at this week's auction activity for post 1900 modern coins. They're all graded, by the way, in case you forgot. But normally, these auction companies kind of dial it down unless you're one of the main auction houses that's being highlighted for that particular show. Everybody else usually, gets a little quiet. Not so much this week. There's a lot of hype and anticipation for any sort of just market acceptable type piece out there, along with the registry set, activities going on. There are people that are blanketing their sets with some marquee pieces, and we have a large number of them. As a matter of fact, there's a few coins that you guys have never seen on this report that we're going to talk about. So yeah, let's go ahead and gear up, strap in, and let's get ready for a fast ride, because this is going to be a fantastic Monday market report. All right, on Sunday night edition, of course. Okay, well, thank you guys again for joining. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out, or dislike, whatever your flavor is. We'd love to hear your opinion about my videos. Let's go ahead and start out very slow, very slow. When I mean slow, okay, if there was any one slow part of the market, it's Lincoln Cents on Great Collections. Although we do have a number of coins to talk about, including this beautiful looking 1971 Lincoln Memorial Cent that exhibits a doubled die obverse. It's also FS101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. The strongest bit of doubling that you will find on this particular coin is going to be in the word liberty and in the motto, "In God We Trust." So for those of you that like to look through coins, or better yet, BU rolls of this one specific date, this is a good one to find. Now, when it comes to high-grade, high-level pieces, generally you won't find stuff that grades above mid-state 65. They're extremely difficult. In this particular instance, Great Collections had a mid-state 66 red, a grade that we don't customarily see on the open market, probably once or twice a year. And this one certainly fits that. It's a beautiful looking coin with strong doubling, one of the strongest of this particular series. And this one ended up selling for $2,250. Just an outstanding example, a very premier coin that more than likely will fit in some sort of Lincoln variety registry set, which is a thing. Among just being one of the top flight coins of this particular variety, it's certainly going to garner a lot of attention when another one comes to the marketplace. And we jump all the way to 1931, and talking about a rather semi-key date for the series. Keep in mind, less than 1 million of these were produced. This particular example here, a 31S, is a fantastic coin to add to your collection. They can be affordable even in mid-state condition. If you're looking for just a really nice piece for around $500 or less, I mean, you could get something extremely nice. Where it begins to get kind of pricey is when you get to like Mint State 64 or 65 and up. This particular example is one of those. It's also CAC certified as well. That's an independent company that really audits the grading companies, most specifically PCGS and NGC. So consider it kind of like double graded in a way. Anytime you see one of these CAC green stickers, that's good news. That means the grade for the coin is spot on. All right, so they are, of course, a different company, not affiliated with PCGS or NGC. They have to be impartial when it comes to this sort of stuff and really give their fair assessment. So 31S, really good looking coin, 65 red, sold for $1,306.12. It's also worth adding that this one was in a little bit older green holder coin. All right, so it's an old holder, probably from about 20 years ago. The next one that we have here is a 1926 Lincoln Wheat Cent. Now this one is a supreme graded example, although it's not the highest graded for the date. It is a Philadelphia, so finding Mint State coins of this particular date, or maybe a 1925 or 27, not particularly hard, especially if you're looking for a raw piece that you could add to a typeset. However, this one is made and tailored for a registry set, coming in at a Mint State 67 red through PCGS, and this one sold for $1,080. This is what I consider to be kind of like the second tier of this particular date, if not for maybe a 67 plus or a 68 in this grade. I mean, this one would sell for a heck of a lot more, and I'm willing to bet probably as recently as 10, 15 years ago, this might have been a $3,000 to $4,000 coin. Now we're getting into a little bit tougher dates, and you guys know that during the 20s, quality was kind of suspect. In addition, people used their coins during this age of the Great Depression. People were just using their coins. They weren't being saved. So the fact that they weren't being pulled out of change in high grades really meant that the survival rate overall was pretty small. This particular example right here is a tough grade, tough date, because it is one of those perennial semi-key dates at a Mint State 64 red brown. Just a very attractive looking coin, would look great in a typeset. Probably not a whole ton of use in a registry set, as there are higher grade examples. And knowing how deep pockets a lot of these registry set participants are, you probably won't see stuff like this that often on there. This example sold for $1,643.62. A 24D is a collector date all day long. And then we do have a pair of 1914s, okay? Now we have the seldom seen S-Mint, okay? This San Francisco minted example right here can be as difficult to find than its 1914 Denver minted brethren, all right? And the big reason why is a lot of these were just straight up circulated. Not too many were saved. And they had a relatively decently low mintage for what it is. A lot of San Francisco minted 19 teens Lincoln cents are quite scarce and high grades. This one is a Mint State 64 red brown, and it looks every bit that. And this one is also an old graded example. It's an OGH, and it's sold for $2,326.50. But of course, not to be outdone, we do have a 1914D. If you just needed an example, this one's okay, but obviously not my favorite. You do have some sort of oxidation, probably from moisture or something like that. It doesn't really affect the grade too much, other than it probably net grades it a little bit. This probably could have been a 64 red-brown, but seeing as how this is a very strong stained kind of look to it, it's neither, appealing, nor is it going to be something that's going to be a highly collected item. Now, it is a 14D, and that is a key date, so there is that. Mint State 63 red brown through NGC, and this one realized $3,749.62. Even at this grade level for a key date, people do care about eye appeal. And this might be seen as kind of a negative thing for their collection. All right, now we're on to nickels, and I can tell you what, I could have done an MMR on just nickels this week. It was extremely deep, top to bottom. We have a 1975 Jefferson nickel here. Again, I'll say this right away. Most of the Jefferson nickel series are made for registry sets. Do not invest in these coins. And, as kind of an add to this argument, try not to grade too many of these. They can pose to be about as difficult as trying to win a lottery. And finding, really clean examples out there in like BU rolls and old, mint sewn bags, those are quite scarce. And you could look as far back as maybe 1950 to the current dates. They're quite scarce. This one right here is an NGC Mid-State 67 5 full stepper. It's quite strong and it's a high grade, but in 75, it was a little bit easy to find some full steps nickels. This one also has a nice even yellowy tone to the whole coin. This one sold for $929.63. Here's a 71D, continuing on with 1970s nickels. Again, this one's pretty decent. Most of the coins that you do come across will exhibit this sharp strike like you see on here, and that's why it has full steps. However, it's a Mid-State 68, so this one probably exceeds more in the cleanliness department of its overall strike and just overall appearance. It does have some pretty strong luster in there as well. This one realized $2,435.62. And a 64D, about as tough as it gets. A early 1960s Jefferson nickel is really, really tough to find. Case in point, I'm gonna be doing a video here sometime this week. I had obtained a few BU rolls of 1963 Jefferson nickels that we'll take a look at and just kind of really assess what kind of would fit the criteria of a coin that you should send out to grading. All right. Again, this is not for the faint at heart. The early 60s, late 50s nickels are some of the most difficult date ranges that you could tackle. And you might even go broke if you end up sending way too many of these. Not 100% sure if you have a coin that would certainly crack the top echelon of population reports. This one right here is a modest Mid-State 66 full steps. Again, the full steps is what really makes this. It could be a 65 full steps and it would still sell for decent amounts of cash. This one is also part of the Key West collection of Jefferson nickels, and it sold for $2,056.24. And there you go, 57D, another tough date. These Denver minted 1950s nickels generally exhibits a little bit better luster than Philadelphia minted examples. This one right here is an NGC Mid-State 67 5 full steps. And this one ended up selling for $2,432.25. And a 52D, another tough one here, but of course it is a Denver with some pretty decent, I would say, if I were to give it a grade, maybe C+, B- type luster range. The reverse, oddly enough, is tone, while the obverse is not. So this one has a kind of uneven, level of toning on there because it's only on one side. Kind of hard to say where this one was even stored in to have this just one-sided toner effect. It is a Mid-State 67 5 full steps through NGC, and this one sold for $2,532.38, about $100 more than the previous coin. And the final Jefferson nickel of this particular batch is going to be this 1950. Now, this one is quite nice. I like this one. It does have, very, very light, if not subtle, toning on both sides of the coin. It has more of like a steely gray appearance to it, or gunmetal, whichever you prefer to kind of associate color-wise on this coin. I think it's a very attractive piece. This one, again, NGC Mid-State 67, 5 full steps. It seems like that an NGC registry or collection had dissolved and the main consignor was Great Collections. This coin sold for $5,725.12. Probably my favorite nickel out of this week's bunch. And then finally, Buffalo nickels were hot this week. And, leading into the Florida Fun Show, it's a big reason why. Florida Fun is usually a great kind of springboard type of show for a lot of folks that deal in obsolete type coins. And what I mean by obsolete is like older designs outside of the framework of what traditionally makes up our current circulation coinage. So anything beyond, like, say, I don't know, 1930s, and going much older than that, that's where a lot of folks ahead of these big coin shows usually target. Great Collections just so happen to have quite the stunning collection of Buffalo nickels, but I decided to just choose one. Otherwise, yeah, this video probably would be 15-20 minutes longer if I highlighted every single hot nickel that's sold this week through GC. How about this 1921S, however, with just amazing wood grain toning on there. Yeah, wood grain toning can pop up on these older nickels as well. We did have improper alloy mixes with the Buffalo nickels and, the first 20 years of the Jefferson nickels. Improper annealing is also a thing. You had a lot of lamination issues on this 30-40 year stretch. So there's a lot to really discover within this series outside of just varieties and stuff. This 21S has loads of eye appeal, and in mid-state condition, especially in a 65, this one is a gauntlet. This one ended up selling for $11,812.50. Just a really beautiful coin, and congrats to the buyer or whoever got this one. This is a great ad. Now, this is probably the part of the video where you might be a little bit stumped and confused, because we haven't talked about Roosevelt dimes at this particular deep of a level in quite some time, but we have 3 extremely modern dated Roosevelt dimes that did make the list, starting out with this 2012 D. This is a Denver minted example. Obviously, registry set, fodder all day long. This one is a mid-state 68 full split bands coin, and it sold for $916.86. And a 2002P. Now we are definitely ratcheting up the quality level here. This is part of the LS Brown collection. And take a look at the grade. How about a 69 full bands? 1 grade point away from perfection. Something that we've never seen on any modern Roosevelt dime that I can remember. But this one right here, this is truly a marvel in itself, considering, the age. It is 20 years old, and you just don't see this type of grade on these coins up until now. This one right here sold for $2,193.75. Put that into perspective. That's a lot of money. And again, the registry set participants have deep pockets to unload on these type of coins. And our last Roosevelt dime out of the mix is going to be this 2001D, also an LS Brown collection provenance piece. This one is a PCGS mid-state 69 full split bands as well. Just very beautiful, very clean example. And this one sold for $1,473.75. Now, we do have a few quarters on tap here, including one just absolutely rich coin. If you did find one of those, obviously it's, congratulations in advance. And we'll get to that here momentarily. But how about the 62D? Denver minted early 60s silver Washingtons are quite tough, in grade 67 and higher. We just so happen to have a really nice blast white example. Looks like it came out of a BU roll at one point. Registry set coin here sold for $2,182.50. And we do have a toner. Of course we do. I love toned Washington quarters, and we got this one here. I think I like the reverse a lot more than the obverse. The obverse just seems like it's one single color with a little bit of toning that's way too dark, or getting close to being like a terminal progression of this thing. But this is a 59D, a very nice high graded in an old NGC holder, Mid-State 67. This is toning that has developed over many decades to get to where it's at right now. This one sold for $2,250. I think this is more of a case, the grade really pushed the premiums on this one to an just unbelievable level. And the 35S, this is, believe it or not, a very tough date. Among a few other dates where it's either a Denver or San Francisco of the 1930s. 36S is just as difficult as the 35S. Here's an example that managed to grade Mid-State 67. This thing is quite impressive. Even got blessed by CAC, so there is that as well. And this one sold for $2,819.25. This is surely going to make a registry set proud. And then finally, we're going to end it off on a big one. This one singular coin just collectively beats the snot out of the previous 19 coins that I talked about today by a huge margin. But, when we talk about modern U.S. rarities post-1900, you got to really throw in the 1918 over 7 Standing Liberty quarter. These were all struck in San Francisco. You could see the final number in the date. The 8 over 7 is unmistakable. You could see this thing a mile away as long as you have design devices to look at for this over date. But this is the big one. This is an important type coin in today's marketplace. And this one right here, ladies and gentlemen, is just an incredible piece, and one that will make any centerpiece of a collection that much more prominent. It's part of the Duckor collection. It's worth mentioning that. It's a PCGS Mid-State 65. Just a truly magnificent, very original coin with some skin on there, CAC certified. And yeah, this is the one that sold for $165,937.50. That could take care of a lot of things, for sure. That'll pay off homes, buy a few cars, pay off credit card bills. I mean, the sky's not quite the limit, but there's a lot to do with this kind of amount of money. I would only imagine that the only thing that'll make it that much more sweeter is if you did find this in a collection. And I happen to know that there have people that have found these in collections that's been passed over to them. Will it be a Mid-State 65? Probably not. This is a one-off kind of unicorn piece. A lot of them, though, come up like VF30, still worth many thousands of dollars, by the way. But this right here, this is a big variety to look out for. That's going to go ahead and do it, guys. I want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in to one of my favorite shows, week in, week out, the Monday Market Report. Always a pleasure. Would love to hear your thoughts. Did you have a favorite coin in this week's list? Are you guys going to be doing the Florida Fun Show? I know a few people I had talked to online and through emails said, yeah, we're going to be there. Along with a bunch of other established dealers. You could also check out their website as well. Just go and Google, type in Florida Fun Show 2022. And I think there is a website to a convention page or something like that for Orlando that you guys can check out. They even got the Bourse floor with all the dealers that's going to be in attendance. Plus, people are talking about it on Facebook and on Collectors Universe forums and things like that. So if you are going, I wish you guys nothing but the best. Add something really cool to your collection. Would love to hear your thoughts on how it went. I think I might be doing the Long Beach show. So if there's some of you that's going to be in Southern California in the middle of February, maybe we could hook up, say hi, things like that. Well, that's going to go ahead and do it, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your last day of NFL football if you guys are doing that. Or better yet, you guys take it easy on this Monday morning and into the afternoon if you're catching this on Monday. But that's it, guys. Much love. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'm Sean, Blue Ridge Silverhound. You guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you on the next coin video. So long.